Guys who are viewed as attractive and distinguished are able to bend the rules of society in a way that favors them. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with this, because in life we need every ethical advantage that we can get to tip the odds in our favor. So what you're about to learn are a few simple mistakes that extraordinary men never make. And if you avoid doing these things, you can almost instantly elevate yourself to an entirely new league in terms of attractiveness, status, and value. So with that said, let's get right into it. Now, the first mistake that extraordinary men never make is always trying to say the right thing. Just to use women as an example, think of the last time that you were around a girl that you didn't find attractive. How did you act around her? Most likely, you were able to completely be yourself around this girl, which allowed you to reach your peak state of attractiveness. And you were probably joking around with her, saying things that you wouldn't normally say, and overall just allowing your inner charisma and confidence to shine through. And maybe you found that this girl quickly became attracted to you without you really even trying. Now think of the last time that you were around a girl that you found really attractive. How did you act around her? Most likely you felt a little bit nervous, and rather than saying whatever you felt like saying, you found yourself always trying to say only the right thing. Or you found yourself always trying to say something that would impress her. And at the same time, it was like your confidence and all of the great things about your personality just flew out the window entirely. One of the biggest mistakes that extraordinary men never make is always trying to say the right thing, whether it's to a girl or even to other men that they admire and respect. Now the truth is that extraordinary men don't always say the right thing, and in many cases they say things that might totally offend someone, but they do or say it anyway. People can easily tell if you are trying too hard to say the right things, and this makes you come off as super unattractive and undesirable, because it shows that you lack the ability to be unapologetically who you are. So don't worry about always saying the right thing when talking to people, and instead say whatever the true you would want to say. Next up, at number 2, is the second mistake that extraordinary men almost never make, and it's trying to be perfect. Now honestly, there aren't too many other things in this world that will make you come off as average and ordinary faster than trying to be perfect. Every single person on the planet has flaws and they make mistakes. But the difference is that extraordinary men know that they aren't perfect, and they don't try to put on an act as if they are. Now we all know that guy who tries to make it seem like everything about himself and his life is perfect from the outside, but then when you take a look on the inside, you see that it's all fake. Honestly guys, one of the most powerful things that you can do is show a little bit of vulnerability. If your nose or some other part of your body has a weird shape, just learn to own it and be confident anyway. If you just started learning a new skill, or you're just trying to get better at meeting new people, don't be afraid to make mistakes and show that. Even if you're an extraordinary man, you still make mistakes and you're not perfect. Now next up is the third mistake that extraordinary men never make, and it's being too dull. One of the most obvious signs that a guy is ordinary, or what you might call average, is dullness or being too neutral. And this type of guy is just going through the motions and nobody ever remembers him. And the problem with this is that people, especially females, are not attracted to or drawn to a guy who is incredibly dull or emotionless. And put simply, most people would describe this guy as having no personality. And if you want to be an extraordinary man, you absolutely have to have a personality. Now, it doesn't have to be a perfect personality, but there has to be something there that will make you a memorable person. Think about the last time that somebody made you really angry. Obviously, you don't like this person, but you still remember them, don't you? Being too neutral or too dull is absolutely one of the biggest mistakes that you can make. And the number one reason why most guys do this is because they are afraid to be themselves around other people. Remember this, making other people feel anything or any emotion when around you is always better than being so dull and so neutral that they feel nothing. So don't be too dull and don't be too neutral, and whether it's during a conversation, at the movies, or while you're eating something in the mall with your friends, be the guy who makes people feel something. You don't have to be the life of the party, but don't be the guy who is always fading into the background. Now next up is the fourth mistake that extraordinary men almost never make, and it is expecting others to lead. Now what does this mean? It means that extraordinary men, unlike men who are simply average, grab the bull by the horns and they lead interactions far more often than most guys. Honestly, you would be totally surprised to find out how many guys assume a passive role when engaging with other people rather than leading. For thousands of years, men have been leading other people. Now, men don't always make the best decisions when leading, but as long as they are leading, they are still respected. And both women and other men will respect you far more if you were able to lead the interaction with them. Extraordinary men are like a human compass, so whenever other people get lost, they are there to steer them back in the right direction. And the difference in the case of women is that extraordinary men are able to lead the interaction, which makes them far more attractive than men who can't do this. And in situations at work, once again, they are able to lead. So if you want to be an extraordinary man, don't wait for others and be the guy who makes the first move, no matter what situation you're in, and be the guy who always knows where he's going. Now next up is the fifth and final mistake that extraordinary men almost never make, and it's never challenging the opinions of others. Many guys who tend to have low self-esteem, or guys who are what you might call ordinary men, all have one thing in common, and this thing is allowing others to form their identity for them. Even at the highest levels among celebrities and the most powerful men on the planet, the seed of doubt is frequently sown by other people in the form of an opinion. No matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion. If you change the way that you dress, someone will tell you that they think that the new style looks stupid on you. If you change the way that you think and decide that you want better for yourself than what you're currently getting out of life, once again, there will be somebody there to challenge your new way of thinking. And in many cases, these opinions come first from those closest to us, like our family and our friends. So when someone presents an opinion that challenges your current belief, don't be afraid to challenge that opinion right back to see if it has any solid ground to stand on. Ordinary men go through life never challenging the opinions of others, and in the process allow other people to define them. But extraordinary men are different because they are not afraid to challenge the opinions of others. And unlike ordinary men, they choose to define themselves based on their own opinions and their own beliefs. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our new merch that just dropped, the link in the description. And with that said, until next time, thanks for watching.